Welcome to My English Podcast.
Learn, practice, and speak with confidence.
Hey everyone, welcome back to My English Podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. We're so happy to have you here with us today.
Grab your coffee or tea, because today we're diving into something that every English learner struggles with at some point.
Oh yes, we're talking about that habit that sneaks up on you in the middle of a conversation.
You know what I mean? You hear something in English, and before you respond, your brain says, "Wait, let me switch this into my language first."
And by the time your brain finishes translating, the conversation's already moved on.
Exactly. So today, we're going to help you break that habit. Because when you stop translating, your English starts to sound smoother, more natural, and way more confident.
And to help us do that, we've got our amazing guest back with us. Mrs. Tina. She's an expert in language learning, and she always brings the best advice.
Hi Max, hi Mia. And hello to all our lovely listeners. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today.
We're thrilled too, Tina. So first, can we ask, why do we even translate in our heads in the first place?
That's a great question. So, translating in your head happens because your brain wants to feel safe. It's used to your first language. That's your comfort zone. So when you hear or speak English, your brain quickly runs back to your native language for support.
So it's kind of like your brain is saying, wait, let me double check this in my own language first.
Exactly. But here's the thing, it slows you down. And it stops you from thinking in English.
And that's the goal, right? To think in English, not just understand it.
Yes. The more you think in English, the faster you become at speaking and the less nervous you feel.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actually stop this habit? Because it feels automatic, right?
It does. But here's the good news, you can train your brain to stop. You just need to practice a few small habits every day. Let's talk about some of them.
Ooh, I love tips. What's the first habit?
The first one is very simple. Use only English when thinking about easy things. Like when you're making a shopping list or planning your day, try doing that in English.
Like, buy milk, eggs, bread, call mom at 5, finish homework.
Exactly. Start with small tasks. You don't need big grammar or big words. Just small, everyday English.
That's cool. So we're not practicing conversation. We're just training the brain to use English for simple thoughts.
Yes. That way, your brain slowly gets used to English without needing to translate.
That's a great tip. Okay, what's the next habit?
The second one is this. Use simple English words to describe what you see around you. For example, if you're walking down the street, think, the man is walking his dog. The bus is coming. The sky is blue.
Oh wow, that's like a mental exercise, right?
Yes. It trains your brain to connect English words directly to the world around you, not to your own language.
So instead of thinking, okay, how do I say blue sky in English? You just see the sky and say blue sky.
Exactly. That's the shift we're aiming for.
Tina, is it okay if I try that right now?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay, let's see. Mia is drinking coffee. Tina is smiling. There's a yellow notebook on the table. How's that?
Nice, Max. I feel famous now.
That was perfect. Simple, clear, natural. That's how we build thinking in English, step by step.
You know, this reminds me of something that happened to me last week. I was at a bakery, and I wanted to ask for a chocolate croissant. But my brain kept translating croissant to my own language, and it got all mixed up. I froze.
Oh no. Did you finally ask?
I did, but it came out like, please, a sweetbread? The lady laughed. But hey, I still got my croissant.
That's a perfect example. And I love that you didn't stop speaking. That's the key. Even if you don't say it perfectly, it's better than stopping.
That brings up a big question. How do we stop being afraid of sounding wrong?
The fear of mistakes. It's very real. But here's a little truth. Native speakers make mistakes too.
Wait, really?
Of course. Everyone says the wrong thing sometimes. We say, we forget words. It's normal.
So we don't have to be perfect?
Never. We only need to be understood. That's all. And if you stop translating, even with small mistakes, your speaking becomes more natural.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about another trick. Is it helpful to watch TV shows or listen to songs in English?
Yes. But here's the secret. Don't use subtitles in your language. Use English subtitles instead.
Ah, so your brain connects English sounds with English words, not your native words.
Exactly. That helps you break the translation loop.
And it makes learning more fun, too. Like, you don't feel like you're studying, you're just enjoying a show.
Tina, I've heard of people using post-it notes to label things in their house. Does that help?
It really does. If you see the word mirror on your mirror every day, your brain stops needing to translate. It just knows, mirror means this.
That's so simple and fun.
Simple is powerful. The more your brain connects English directly to objects, actions, and feelings, the less you'll need to translate.
So it's all about forming direct links between English and experience?
Exactly. Not English to your language, just English to the world around you.
You know what this reminds me of? When little kids learn to speak.
Oh yeah, kids don't use translation apps. They just listen, copy, and try.
That's right. They learn by doing. And adults can too. You just need to allow yourself to speak freely, even if it's not perfect.
Tina, what's a good mindset to have while trying to stop this habit?
I'd say be kind to yourself. It's not about being fast. It's about being consistent. Praise your efforts, not your perfection.
That's such good advice. I feel like we all try to be too perfect sometimes.
Totally. But now I see that translating in your head isn't wrong. It's just something you outgrow with practice.
Exactly. It's just a step. And every learner passes through it.
Tina, what's one small thing our listeners can do today to begin this journey?
I'd say pick one object near you. Maybe a pen. Now say in English, "This is a pen. I use it to write." That's it. You've just thought in English.
Simple and powerful. I love that.
All right, friends, we're going to keep this chat going, so stay right here.
More helpful tips are coming up next, so don't go anywhere.
We've got so much more to share to help you stop translating and start thinking in English naturally.
Okay, Tina, we were just talking about picking one object and describing it in English. That was such a nice idea. I tried it with my cup just now. I said, "This is a cup. It has hot tea inside." Boom. English thought. No translation.
Nice, Mia. I just looked at my phone and said, "This is my phone. I use it to send messages." Super easy.
That's perfect. See? You're both building English thinking muscles already.
Tina, I want to ask something. I think a lot of learners get stuck because they feel like they don't have the words in English, so their brain runs back to their own language. What should they do when that happens?
Great question. When you don't know a word, don't panic. Just try to explain it using other simple English words. That's called paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing? Like describing a word without using the exact word?
Exactly. For example, if you don't remember the word broom, you can say, "The thing we use to clean the floor."
Oh, that's so helpful. You're still speaking in English. You're just using what you do know.
Yes. And the best part? Your brain stays in English mode. That's how you slowly stop translating.
So it's not about knowing every word. It's about being creative with what you already know.
Absolutely. Think of it like this: English isn't a test. It's a tool. And you're learning to use it one step at a time.
I love that. And sometimes, when we try to translate a word directly, it doesn't even make sense in English, right?
Yes. That's a big problem. Some words or phrases just don't translate well. So instead of wasting time searching for a perfect match, it's better to say it in your own way, in simple English.
That makes me think of when I once tried to translate a joke from my language into English. It didn't land at all. People just looked at me.
Oh no, I've been there too. Cultural things can get lost in translation.
Yes. Humor, idioms, even expressions, they often don't move smoothly from one language to another. That's why thinking directly in English is so powerful.
Let's talk about speaking now. How can learners train themselves to speak without translating?
There's one great technique: thinking out loud in English.
Like talking to yourself?
Exactly. But don't worry, it doesn't mean you're weird. You can do it quietly or when you're alone. For example, while you're cooking, you can say, "Now I'm cutting onions. I need salt. The water is boiling."
So you're describing what you're doing in real time?
Yes, that's thinking in English and speaking in English. It's double practice. No translation needed.
That's smart. It's like creating your own mini English world at home.
Exactly. You don't need a classroom. Your daily life becomes your teacher.
Tina, I also want to ask about vocabulary. What's the best way to learn new words without linking them to our native language?
The best method is called context learning. That means learning words by seeing them in a real situation, not by memorizing translations.
So instead of memorizing apple equals your native word, you learn it like, I eat an apple every day. Apples are sweet.
Exactly. You create a picture, a feeling, a story around the word. Your brain remembers better that way.
And you're not stuck translating all the time.
Right. Plus, when you learn with context, you also remember how to use the word, not just what it means.
That makes me think of idioms. Tina, you've told us before that idioms are super useful, but hard to translate.
Yes. Idioms are very tricky if you try to translate them word by word. For example, the idiom break the ice.
Oh yeah, that doesn't mean smashing actual ice, right?
Haha, no. It means to start a conversation, especially with someone new.
So like when you're feeling awkward and someone says something funny to relax everyone?
Exactly. So instead of translating break the ice, just understand it as a whole idea.
That's powerful. Idioms don't need to be translated, they need to be felt.
Beautifully said, Mia. And here's another example. Hit the books. Do you know what that means?
Maybe to study hard?
Correct. But again, if you translate it word by word, it sounds like someone is punching books.
That would be a strange way to study.
So when you hear idioms like this, don't try to break them down. Just understand the meaning and move on. That helps you think like a native speaker.
So far, we've talked about training our brain to think in English, using simple words, paraphrasing, context learning, and even talking to ourselves. What else can help?
Let's talk about confidence. Confidence plays a huge role in stopping the habit of translating.
Oh yeah. If I'm nervous, I go back to my native language inside my head.
That's very common. But when you feel more confident, you let English flow, even if it's not perfect. One way to build confidence is to practice speaking daily, even for 5 minutes.
Even if you make mistakes?
Yes. That's how you learn. Every small try builds your English brain.
Tina, can we also talk about thinking speed? I think some learners translate because their English thoughts feel slow.
That's true. And the solution is simple: slow down your speech. You don't need to speak fast to sound fluent. You need to sound clear.
So it's okay to take a pause and think.
Yes. Even native speakers pause. What matters is keeping your thoughts in English. If you stay in English, even a slow answer is better than a fast one with translation.
That's such a relief to hear. We don't need speed. We need flow.
Tina, I remember one of your students used to carry a little English-only notebook. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yes. She kept a small notebook and wrote down simple sentences every day, only in English. No translations. Just phrases like, I love rainy days. I don't like cheese. My sister has a cat.
That sounds so sweet and helpful.
It helped her brain think directly in English. Even writing like this builds your thinking power.
So even short writing practice can rewire your brain?
Yes. Think of it like brain training. Each sentence you write is a little exercise for your English muscle.
What about learners who feel stuck in a rut? Like, they want to stop translating, but the habit is so strong.
Then I'd say, change one small thing. Watch one video in English with no subtitles. Describe one picture out loud in English. Write one sentence. Just one thing every day.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right. Tiny changes lead to big results. Language learning is like water. It flows slowly, but it gets everywhere.
Wow. That's such a beautiful thought, like we're watering a garden with every little English moment.
Tina, Do you ever recommend language apps to help stop the translation habit?
Sure. Some apps are great if they encourage thinking in English. Look for ones that ask you to speak, describe things, or match pictures to words, not just translate.
So apps should be tools, not crutches.
Exactly. If you use them the right way, they can support your journey toward thinking directly in English.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired now. I'm going to describe my lunch today out loud in English, even if it's just a sandwich.
Perfect. That's the spirit.
I'm gonna leave myself sticky notes around my kitchen. Fridge, pan, spoon. Let's go full English mode.
Yes. Surround yourself with English, and slowly your brain will let go of translation.
This has been so helpful, Tina. I feel like we're really getting to the heart of how to change the way we think.
It's not just about words, it's about habits and mindset and letting go of fear.
Exactly. And you don't have to rush. You just have to start.
Stick around, friends. We've got even more practical tips coming up.
Yeah, this chat isn't over yet. More real examples and daily ideas are on the way.
You're all doing so well. Just by listening and thinking along with us, you're already moving toward fluency.
All right, we're still here, still chatting, and still breaking old habits.
And not just any habits. The one that hides in our heads and whispers. Translate before you speak.
But not anymore. You're learning to hear that voice and gently say, "No thanks, I'm speaking in English now."
Tina, we've covered so many great ideas already, but I know our listeners would love to hear a few more practical ways to stop translating in their heads, especially in conversations.
Yeah, what happens when we're actually talking with someone and our brain freezes? You know that moment. You know what you want to say in your language, but the English just doesn't come out.
That's such a common feeling. So let's talk about conversation strategies. Here's one that really works. Don't aim for perfect sentences, aim for clear ideas.
So you mean focus on the message, not on getting every grammar rule right?
Exactly. If you're stuck, forget about fancy grammar. Use simple words. Short phrases. Keep it basic.
Can we try that? Like, give us a sentence someone might want to say, and show us how to simplify it?
Sure. Let's say someone wants to say, "I was planning to visit the museum yesterday, but unfortunately, it was closed due to maintenance." That's a great sentence, but kind of complex for a beginner. So instead, say, "I wanted to go to the museum yesterday. It was closed."
Wow, so simple. And still clear.
Yes. That's the power of thinking in simple English. You avoid the need to translate a long sentence in your head.
So when we simplify, we remove the pressure. That's a huge relief for learners.
Absolutely. And once you're comfortable with short, simple English, your brain starts trusting that it can think in English. No translation needed.
Tina, how do we handle moments where we just don't know what to say, like those awkward silences?
Those are actually great practice moments. You can use bridge phrases.
Bridge phrases?
Yes. They're short expressions that help you hold the conversation while you think. Like, "Let me think. What's the word for that?" It's kind of like.
Oh, that gives you a few seconds to breathe and stay in English.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation flowing. You're not switching to your language or freezing.
Okay, I have a question. What about internal thoughts? Like when I'm alone and I catch myself thinking in my language. Should I stop and switch?
That's a great habit to build. Try saying to yourself, "Let me try that thought in English." Even a small sentence.
Like if I think I'm tired in my own language, I stop and say it in English. I'm tired.
Exactly. Or, "I need to drink water." Or, "Where is my phone?" These little switches are very powerful.
So even if no one is listening, we can still practice thinking in English?
Yes. And those private moments are where the real change happens. No pressure. No mistakes. Just you and your thoughts.
Tina, what about emotions? A lot of people feel frustrated or even embarrassed when they realize they're still translating after months of learning.
I understand. But here's something important. Frustration is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of growth. It means your brain is noticing the habit. And that's the first step to changing it.
So we can actually say, Thank you, frustration. You're helping me notice what needs to change.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself. Learning a language is not just about words, it's also about patience, courage, and love.
That gave me goosebumps.
You're doing something amazing. You're building a new way of thinking. That's not easy, but it's beautiful.
I want to go back to something you said earlier about surrounding yourself with English. Can we talk a little more about that?
Sure. One of the best ways to stop translating is to create an English environment, even if you live in a non-English speaking country.
Like how?
Here are a few ideas. Change your phone's language to English. Set your alarm with a sentence in English, like, "Wake up, sunshine." Label items in your home. Follow English-speaking creators online. Read simple English books or listen to podcasts like this one.
You're basically training your brain to live in English, even when you're alone.
Yes. And that's how you start thinking in English without effort.
Let's talk about confidence again. I think this connects so deeply with translation. People are scared of looking silly if they say something wrong in English.
Yes. And here's my favorite reminder. Nobody remembers your mistakes. They remember your courage.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's true. Most people are too busy thinking about their own problems to judge your English.
And honestly, people love it when you try to speak their language. They don't care if it's perfect.
Exactly. They appreciate your effort. So let the fear go. Speak. Make mistakes. Learn. Repeat.
Tina, before we wrap up today, can you share a few fun and creative ways our listeners can practice thinking in English every day?
Of course. Here are a few. Talk to your mirror. Pretend you're giving yourself instructions. Now I will brush my teeth. Narrate your morning routine. I open the window. I make coffee. I check my phone. Use voice notes. Record yourself describing your day in English. Listen back and notice if you translated anything. Play the "What is it?" game. Pick any object and describe it in English without saying its name. Example, it's round. You throw it. Kids play with it. Answer, ball. Dream in English. Before sleeping, imagine a simple conversation in English. Nothing big, just a friendly chat.
I love that last one. I'm going to try dreaming in English tonight.
Me too. Maybe I'll dream that I'm on a beach, ordering coffee in perfect English.
That's the dream. Literally.
You know, Tina, after this whole conversation, I feel like we're not just talking about breaking the habit of translating. We're talking about building a new habit. A habit of trusting ourselves.
Yes. Trust is the heart of this journey. Trust that your brain can handle English. Trust that your words matter. Trust that progress is always happening, even if you don't see it yet.
Wow, that's going to stay with me. Language learning is more than just a skill. It's a journey of trust, courage, and joy.
And we're all on it together.
All right, friends, we're reaching the end of this beautiful chat.
But we hope this conversation stays in your mind and in your heart long after it ends.
Yes. And remember, if your brain tries to translate, it's okay. Smile, pause, and gently bring it back to English. Bit by bit, it gets easier.
Every word you speak in English is a win.
And every mistake? Just proof that you're brave enough to try.
Hey, if this episode helped you in any way, we'd really love to hear from you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's learning English too.
And tell us in the comments, what English sentence are you going to try saying today?
We're cheering for you always.